my best fragrance pickups in the month of November. Hey guys, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman, and it's time for your dose of some fragrance content. It's also time for me to summarize my fragrance journey throughout this past month of November. For today's video, I'm going to show you what I consider to be my best pickups in that past month. And I'm going to start with a brand that I've been exploring more and more lately. In fact, two brands that are under the same umbrella, and they're called Maison Asrar and Gulf Orchid. And I'm going to start with the ones that actually are sold under Maison Asrar. The first one that I've included in this video is called Hunter. I recently reviewed this fragrance, I think it was last week, and this is the latest clone of a designer fragrance that I really like a lot. That's quite old but seems to be like an evergreen scent because we're still getting new clones, and that original scent is called Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultra Mole. I love Ultra Mole, and even though some people probably have gotten tired of getting new clones of Ultra Mole, I personally don't mind it, because any good clone of Ultra Mole I'll take any day of the week, of the month, of the year. And Hunter is exactly that. It's a very nice take on Ultra Mole itself. This one feeling a little bit more fruity in the opening because it has an added note of pineapple, which is something that you won't find in the original scent. And this one also feeling a little bit more woody on its dry down, but in the air this smells very close to Ultra Mole. It has nice quality, it's a compliment getter, and has a very decent performance. Quite good, I would say, actually. And that's why I consider it to be a good pickup for me in this past month of November. The next one from Maison Asrar that I'm going to quickly mention is called Throne Eclipse. Looks like this. It has an interesting built-in sprayer that looks a lot like something that you'll find in the 1 million line, for example, or the Thierry Mugler's Amen line, like the original Amen Pure Heaven and whatnot. This, though, doesn't feel like an exact clone of anything. This feels more like an inspiration with a heavy twist. The closest thing that comes to mind whenever I smell the scent of Throne Eclipse is Parfum de Marlis Altair, but this is by no means an exact clone of Altair, because this feels boozy, this feels a lot fresher, a lot less sweet, a lot more spicy in the opening. On the dry down is where this may get a little bit closer to Altair, but still it doesn't feel like an exact clone. This has more ambery sweetness rather than the vanillic sweetness that you'll find in the original scent. This doesn't have those white florals. As I said, it feels more spicy, more peppery, it feels more ambery. In a way, this reminds me of a fragrance from Arabiyat Prestige, which is called Lutfah Light in the Heart. So it's an interesting, I would say, quite niche smelling scent, because on one hand it will bring you Altair vibes, on the other hand it smells very different. Nice quality, good performance, interesting packaging and bottle design. So again, I think it was a great pickup for me. The last one from Maison Asrar that I've included in today's video is one of their most hyped up fragrances at the moment. It's called Muharib. Of course, this one smells a lot like Xerjov's Naxos. It's still not an exact clone of Naxos. This feels slightly less fresh in the opening, a little bit more tobacco-y. The dry down feels a little bit more ambery rather than honeyed and vanillic like the original one. This feels more like a combination between the honey and an amber note rather than honey and vanilla. But overall, this smells very close to Naxos. Has very nice quality and strong performance. Straight out of the box, this was giving me great performance. It has a great sprayer. Overall, this is a great clone of Naxos if you're looking for such a thing, and one of the very best clones of Naxos that you can get. And the last one from those companies, Gulf Orchid and Maison Asrar, that I've included in today's video, is sold under Gulf Orchid. This one is called Exotic Oud, and I talked about this fragrance yesterday in its own dedicated review, but this is a clone of Oud Maracuja from Maison Crivelli, and from what I've tried, at least like a dozen clones of Oud Maracuja, this, along with Oud Madness and Azure Oud, respectively from Fragrance World and French Avenue, is one of the three best and closest smelling clones to Oud Maracuja that you can get. You'll get the passion fruit, the fruity sweetness, you'll get the leather note, the rose, the agar oud, the ambers on the dry down, the spices. This smells very close to Oud Maracuja. Quality is nice, performance is pretty strong, pretty beastly, I would say, actually, even straight out of the box. And if you're looking for a clone of Oud Maracuja, and if you don't already own Azure Oud or Oud Madness, definitely try and sample a exotic oud from Gulf Orchid, because I think it's great. The next one that I've included in today's video comes from the brand of Arabiyat Prestige. I've had this one for about a month now. I'm still yet to talk about it, but I should do its own dedicated review because I think it deserves it. It's called Lutfah Beyond Forever, part of the Lutfah lineup. It comes in this dark green bottle, and it's a very interesting scent. In a lot of ways, this reminds me, great pressurized sprayer as usual. In a lot of ways, this reminds me of exotic oud and oud maracuja, but at the same time, it feels a little bit different. I think this is inspired by an original fragrance from the brand of Giza, which I've never tried, but again, this smells quite a bit like oud maracuja because you still get a lot of the same notes, like the florals, like the rose notes, some of the spiciness, the saffron, agar oud, leather, fruity sweetness, but this one has different type of fruity sweetness. This one doesn't have a passion fruit note. This one has a strawberry note, which makes it a little bit more feminine in my opinion. It's like a fresher, more more airy and more wearable version of oud maracuja. The leather and the agar oud notes are not as strong. Overall, this is a very interesting scent that I've been digging quite a lot. Again, in my opinion, this smells a little bit more to the feminine side, but still, I think it's a good fragrance that has really nice quality and also has very strong performance, lasts for a long time and projects really nicely. The next one comes from the brand of Nusuk, and it's the second clone of Naxos that I've included in today's video. It's called Ateeq. And again, this smells a lot like Naxos, but it's different than Naxos, it's different than Muharib, because this one feels a lot sweeter, a lot more honeyed, like adding more honey note on top of the scent profile of Naxos. This also has a bit of a floral touch, something that I don't find personally in Naxos. It still has a lot of the same notes like vanillic, honey sweetness, the tobacco note, some of the citrusy freshness, but instead of the lavender you get a jasmine note with this one, which adds a hint of a greenness and more like a floral touch. And again, the honey note is stronger than in Naxos itself. But again, those things are noticeable up close in the air. This smells very, very similar to Naxos, and it's a great clone in my opinion, especially considering the price point. All the other three clones of Naxos, good clones of Naxos that I've tried lately, apart from Ateeq, all costs around about 40 euros and upwards. This I personally paid around about 25 euros. So especially compared to the price of Muharib or something like Fertil Luna from French Avenue, this costs half the price. Well, it's still pretty good quality, very decent quality considering the price point, and also pretty strong performance. Again, this one straight out of the box was giving me at least 8 to 9 hours of performance. Next, I'm going to go over the brand of French Avenue. The first two are part of the new members of the aromatics lineup that are called Forbidden Fruit and Magnetiq. It's not like I don't like the other two, just I prefer these two at the moment over the rest of them. That's why I've included them in today's video. After all, it's called my best pickups. Forbidden Fruit is a very interesting, fruity, slightly boozy fragrance that has a very intense opening, especially the opening is very strong and very intense and very loud. It's a very unisex scent in my opinion, that's very versatile, has nice quality and pretty good performance. And for those things alone, even like only for the bottle design and the color combination, the way that the bottle looks, I could include it in today's video, and I consider it to be a great pickup for me. The other one, Magnetiq, this is an interesting scent that smells very similar to Reflection Man from Amouage, but at the same time has a lot of white florals like an orange blossom note and sweetness, and in a way reminds me strongly of YSL Myself. To me this feels like a mix between Reflection Man and Myself. It's like a more modern take on Reflection Man. It's sweet, green, slightly powdery, feels in a way slightly even barbershoppy and slightly old school at the same time, smells pretty modern. It's a very nice scent, my most favorite one out of the lineup, the new 4 fragrances in the aromatics lineup. Again, nice quality and good performance. And the last French Avenue scent that I've included in today's video has been hyped up to the moon and back. It's called Amber Empire, this one being inspired by Blonde Amber, and it's a very nice amber based scent that I really like the way that this one smells. It's warm, it's sweet, it's deep and rich, sophisticated, feels a little bit mature, a great wear for the colder months of the year, a great winter nighttime type of scent that smells very nice. The quality is top notch with this one, the performance is good. Not as good as I expected, but still very, very reasonable. The opening is quite strong and loud. After that, it settles closer to the skin. But overall, this is a very nice fragrance that I've been enjoying a lot when it comes to the actual scent. And apart from the slightly disappointing performance, I think the hype about this one is worth it. The next one that I'm going to show in today's video comes from the brand of Khadlaj, and it's called Zayaan Gold. This one has also seen quite a bit of hype and coverage lately. This is heavily inspired by Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Male Elixir Absolu, and in fact, as a scent and how close it feels to the original, this is probably one of the best clones that I've tried throughout 2025 so far. So it's taking that very popular scent at the moment of Le Male Elixir and Le Male Elixir Absolu, but compared to Le Male Elixir, this feels a little bit more fruity, feels a little bit softer, a little bit less tobacco-y, with a hint of booziness as well. And compared to Le Male Elixir Absolute, this feels a little bit softer, slightly more powdery, slightly more fruity, but it smells great, and it's a great wear for the colder months of the year, especially again for nighttime. Very good quality, scent-wise pretty close to the original. Total longevity is also pretty good. Just don't expect this one to be a very loud projecting scent, because in my experience it doesn't, but it's a very nice smelling fragrance in my opinion. The next one, in fact the last three that I'm going to show in today's video, all come from the brand of Ahmed Al Maghribi. Now the first one that I'm going to show you is called Summer Oud, and this is a very nice, very Middle Eastern smelling scent that in a way reminds me of things like, let's say, Ombre Nomad. I'm not saying this is a clone of Ombre Nomad, but it relies on a lot of similar notes. You'll find a strong rose note with this one, a strong leather note, a strong agar oud note with this one, but this feels a little bit fresher, more airy, like compared to something like Ombre Nomad. Again, this doesn't smell like Ombre Nomad, but just carries a similar spirit, a similar vibe. Very oriental, very Middle Eastern, pretty niche smelling scent with superb quality and pretty beastly performance. I find this one to be perfectly unisex as well, and it's something that you can get away with in warm weather as long as you don't go too heavy on the sprayer. The next one is called Laathani. It's one of the most famous fragrances from the brand at the moment. This reminds me a lot of things like let's say Imperial Valley from Giza. So it's fresh, citrusy, has some sweetness, fruity sweetness, ambery sweetness. It has a leather note, maybe a hint of agar oud as well. This is just a great fragrance in my opinion. I've really always been digging that original scent profile, and Laathani is just great. The quality is top notch, and again, pretty strong performance, lasts for a long time, projects really nicely. Signature scent worthy fragrance in my opinion that just smells great. And the last one is another one of those signature scent worthy fragrances. It's again from Ahmed Al Maghribi. This one is called March. Now I waited for a very, very long time until I got my hands on a bottle of this fragrance. I heard so much good things about this one that I had really high expectations, and this is so good as a scent that it actually exceeded my expectations. I absolutely love March. Now it's a very, very complex scent. Again, agar oud, leather, some freshness, some florals, a lot of sweetness. This again smells super, super niche. It smells super unisex in my opinion, perfectly unisex. Smells clean and fresh and serious enough at the same time. Very, very classy. Just absolutely great with beastly performance straight out of the box. And again, if you've heard a lot of great things about March but you have never tried it, just like me a few weeks ago, keep in mind that this will probably even exceed your expectations. It's such a good scent. The only problem about this one is that it's slightly harder to find in some places around the world, and it's a little bit more expensive considering this comes in only a 60 milliliter bottle size. But the performance is absolutely worth it, and the scent as well, and I consider it to be a great pickup for me. So guys, in today's video I showed you what I consider were my best pickups, fragrance pickups in the month of November. I hope that you found today's video interesting. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in my next video for your dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.